Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the pre-show here for season three, episode number 13 of Renegade Radio. Over there, everybody over there at Grand Forks Best Source is watching today on this evening on the stream uh, for this fine Saturday evening. I'm your host with most, Frankie Slauson, and welcome to the show. Tonight's episode is going to be a little bit different than most normal episodes. And why is it different? Because tonight we're going to be presenting to you the first ever Renegade Radio digital town hall. And what is a digital town hall? Well, we're getting together with the Thief River Falls mayor, current mayor Brian HOLMER, and the his opponent Michael Lorenson, and we're going to be doing like a little Q&A. You can call it kind of a debate, but it's more or less a Q&A. We're going to be asking some questions. We'll be answering questions. They're going to be answering questions. That they're probably asking questions. It might get a little hot in the room. We'll just say. I mean, we don't know. Most of the people that you're familiar with that are on the show probably won't be on tonight because of this. This was an idea that I thought of a while ago, a few weeks ago, because I thought, well, if you guys remember, and some of you that have followed me for a while, definitely, everything is anyway. If it works out, that some might show up, then they will, but most of them probably won't because of this. Because you got to realize that most of the people that are on my crew, other than maybe a couple of them, aren't really, they're not really from the area, so they don't really care about our local politics. And honestly, to be honest, totally honest, I don't really care about politics either. I'm doing this basically to help our show get kind of recognized a little bit and to show a little care for my community because I will always consider Thief River like part of my community because I've had good times, I've had bad times, I've had multiple times over there in that town. But I've always considered it even back before I even lived there, like one of my favorite places to go to shop and just to do everything I've ever wanted to do. So now things have changed, everything's a little bit different and the town's different and and I figure there's a lot of questions that probably need to be answered and maybe tonight we can be a little help. Maybe we won't. Maybe we just maybe we'll add more to the problem. I don't know. Hopefully not, because we're trying to do a good thing here, and but I did get one of my at least one of my crew members to show up to this because she lives around real close to the area. So what's up, Mama T? Oh boy! And now you're giving us a dead stare now.
No, no,
I know you
my phone
can't.
is freezing up and my phone is plugged in right now, so I can't get it set up the
Uh-huh.
way I normally do. Keeps
Yeah,
tipping over. So
I see.
if all of a sudden you're staring at the ceiling, you know why.
Oh, well, I'll pretend we're in a wrestling match and you're pinning me. Okay, one, two, three.
All right, all right.
Anyway, so as many of you know, that Mama T has been on the show. And I didn't realize this since September 25th of last year. And I know you missed some episodes or whatever, but you know what? It doesn't matter. You committed back last December or last September, and it was during the James Hampton tribute episode, Mary Dees Hampton. Do you remember that episode much at all?
Yep, I sure do. I sure do.
What do you remember
I
of it?
I I did my homework on that one. Fresh Prince. I even yeah, she was in the French Fresh Prince even.
Yeah,
Her husband was a famous actor. Oh yeah, I remember. I remember my first episode.
but
You always remember your first time.
do you remember the setting of what you were doing at the time, and life was different, compared to how it is now, and it's weird how time has flown so quickly. We'll just say because and
Yeah.
whether it would have still happened anyway or it may not, whatever. I'm talking about Bob's death. It was just different times last year or over a year ago compared to now.
Yeah, it was. I think I had to do it out of my car there for a while, and
Yeah,
I was drinking a little too much gin at the time.
we didn't actually start seeing your apartment until probably season two.
Yep. Yeah, when Bobby died, because I can't get in this. I don't have my own keys to the studio anymore, so and they're
Yeah,
not here on Sundays, so or
yeah.
or usually they close early on Mondays, so
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, that's
yeah.
just okay. Well, anyway, so
Oh,
yeah. Other than that, I wanted to start this pre-show a little bit early so we had a real chance to kind of chit chat a little bit because this past weekend was a pretty fun weekend. And I know you would have loved to participate, and I was hoping that maybe somebody would have just told me that they couldn't make it, and then I would have just let you come with and everything. But I don't
I've
know.
never I've
Oh, well, now you're freezing up again.
heard COVID was going around, and I was like,
Oh, it was going around. What? Yeah,
no, I'm
that's
just
right.
kidding. I wouldn't wish COVID on him.
Uh,
That's somebody, I think. Oh, I know who was telling me that. The Rose Girl was telling me that there was some COVID going around, and she wants to be on our show here. She would like to be on Renegade Radio.
who's the Rose Girl?
Angela the Rose Girl.
I don't know who
Uh,
that is.
she was on. John Roberts actually interviewed her on one of his
Okay, well that
shows,
doesn't mean that I know her. I don't
but
know her.
so what she does is she takes and buys roses at wholesale, and then
Okay,
goes and sells them and takes the profits to sponsor veterans going on the Veterans Honor Flight.
okay,
So she
okay.
goes from bar to bar. She goes all the way from Grand Fork. She goes to Crookston. She goes through down all the way down Highway 2 to Bemidji
Oh,
and stops
wow.
at every bar. And she
Okay,
is in the process of sponsoring her 26th veteran right now. But there's been some issues. There's been some people, you know how people are. They don't believe anything and they think
oh,
people are scam artists. And
oh,
like there's been some rumors going around that she was a scam artist, and she's got like this whole kit. Like
okay.
the honor flight wouldn't have given her this jacket. Nobody has these jackets
Yeah,
unless
yeah,
you've
yeah.
been on the honor flight, you know.
Sure,
And
sure, sure.
they gave her one. So
I think the
and
people
there's
that
all
think
kinds
that
of she's
I
got
think the people
letters
that think
from
that
all of the
she's
veterans.
I think the people that think that she's a scam probably just don't understand. They
Mm,
just don't get it. And it's
yeah,
like maybe do some research. I mean, now you're telling me about her, so
exactly.
now I'm starting to know about her. But I'd probably look her up first just to make sure, and see. Because I mean, I don't mind, having it just about anybody, as long as they're doing something cool in the world, coming on the
Oh yeah.
show. But I mean, does she have a little bit of a following at all? Not that that really matters,
Oh
but
yeah,
never mattered
there's
before.
people do love her. There's way more
Okay,
people that love her and support her and welcome her into the bar. She's got this guy that does trivia, and they'll raise money that way for veterans as well. You know, like old trivia shows that have little stands and the buzzers
sure.
and the point counters. Yeah, they go to different bars and do that too to
Okay,
raise money for
okay.
veterans. But yeah, there's only like a couple places that is. I mean, this poor girl, her car's been keyed. She's got a dent punched in her hood. I mean, people are
Just
just
just for trying
mean.
to do something good. That's what she gets.
Yeah,
That's her reward.
yep,
Wow.
apparently.
Did those
But
people
yeah,
get did those people get in trouble that did all these things?
no,
No.
because she could never catch them. There's no video footage to prove it.
Wow, that's weird.
But you know, she'd hear people yelling, you know, on her way into the bar or something. She comes out and her car's keyed, you know.
Wow, that's too bad. Yeah. Well, karma will get those people someday. Yeah.
But yeah, and I told her because she said that she actually had a good time when she was on with John Roberts. He had interviewed her. And I don't
Well,
know which show.
well,
Yeah,
that's the thing about John Roberts. He can make anybody look like a star. Like when we did that interview and not to see bragging about last week, but when we did the interview with Charlie. I mean, John was very professional, but he was very humorous, and I think the mics too made it look more, you know, made it look more interesting. Like we're like at a big city or like I mean Grand Forks is a big city, but like even bigger city, like Minneapolis style, that type
Yeah.
of level.
Oh, Angela was here one day when I was doing Renegade Radio. Actually, I think
Oh,
she like
okay.
actually see. I think she even walked past the camera. Yeah,
Oh,
I we had
okay.
just started. I think
Hey.
we were doing the pre-show, and she had walked in and because I put a note on the door, be quiet. I'm a live podcast, so she just kind of let herself in and snuck on past me and
Well, that's
sat
interesting.
and
What's
watched the
up?
show. And she's like, "This is so cool. I always wanted to watch you do a podcast."
Now you're a
All right,
celebrity
as long as you can
now.
sit over there and keep your mouth shut.
That's right. Don't say a fucking word.
Sometimes I do
It's
have
a
a little
pre-show.
gallery.
Well, what's up, Zach? How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me all right?
Oh yeah, you look good, man. You're not in the truck this time. You're at your
No,
house.
no, I'm not. I'm taking this pretty seriously.
That's good. That's good. I no no. I appreciate all you guys' time just because I did. I was thinking a lot about this weekend and how we were going to present this. Because it's kind of been bothering me a little bit. Like, oh boy, did I get myself in like a little pickle now? Like
Oh,
because I don't know much about politics and I still don't know about a lot of local politics, but I hope to learn tonight. While this is going on. You
man,
know.
I envy you. I wish I didn't know.
Well, I mean, in a way, you're kind of the inspiration for this too. It kind of took a little bit of inspiration from the wrestling match when I saw Brian, and then once I started to get to know you, and I just thought, maybe we should do something. I mean,
Mhm.
really, I mean, you're already welcome to be on the show as much as you want, Zach. I mean, because I like your style, and I like the way that you just, and everybody, likes you. I mean, you can roast us, you can joke with us, you can handle. You got the thick skin that we're looking for.
Oh yes. You
That's
you
always
can't
good.
you cannot be a Midwesterner up here if you cannot handle the subtlety of Midwestern insults.
See, Mama T, Midwestern insults is what it's called.
Um, yeah, let's not get into that again.
No,
Did I miss
You
something
really,
here?
you really want to open that door, Sean?
Did
no,
I
no, no,
miss
no, no,
something?
no, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no, no, no,
no.
no.
As soon as thin skin came out of your mouth, I was like, oh, here we go again.
No, no, no. I'm not trying to be weird or whatever. I just,
Sean, did you
like,
notice that when we were saying that if you were paying attention to Mama T, she was doing the whole
yeah, she does that. It's okay. It's her way of saying she appreciates me a lot more than she
There you go.
appreciates.
She's
Yep,
telling you you're
you're
number
number
one.
one. Yep.
Yep, yep. In her heart, in her life, everything. Nah, it's
Oh,
okay. It's okay.
in my
It's okay.
nightmares.
Sean, did you have a chance to review the questions? Was there anything in there that you think is like inappropriate? I took some questions from the community, and some of them were a little bit too personal, so I had to like rewrite some of those questions to
Everything
make
looked
them
good. I
okay.
mean, from what you showed me last night, because this guy can put together a whole introduction, because he's going to be the guy. He's going to be kind of like the introduction guy. Okay, like the admin, but then you, obviously, unless your connection starts getting issues or whatever with that again.
Oh,
Now,
actually, here,
because
let me see.
I'm gonna have you and Lindsay probably be the other question people, because
Did
that's
Yeah,
all.
I've
Lindsay
got, I've
reach
got
out to
seven
you?
of them ready.
Yeah, she just got hold me just now, so she just
Good.
got home from
Yeah,
cargo.
Um,
So I said, yeah,
Mama
you.
T, let me send you
give me a
the
second, Zach.
okay.
Yeah, that's the thing about this pre-show. It's like anything can happen. That's why I love doing recording these. I never used to do stuff like this, but you know, it
Here you
makes it
go.
interesting.
I just want to make sure that we're all in alignment here with some of the
Okay,
questions.
all right.
So
Yeah,
I'll put it in
yeah,
the
yeah.
chat where what
I
I
can't
have
see the
written.
chat. I
Oh,
I can't see the chat.
oh,
Unless
So
you
I
do
have to
it,
use my phone for this because my laptop is super slow.
oh
you
no.
can see the
Send it.
chat if
Can you
you.
send it to me in Messenger?
Sure I can. Do I
Because I do
have
have
you?
my computer working a little bit better, but
Do I have you in Messenger or do I even have you as a friend?
Yeah, probably that, probably, huh?
Well,
Well, I don't
okay,
know. I
I'm sorry.
mean, Zach's a busy guy, Baba T.
we're all on Renegade Radio staff, aren't we?
Not, I
Uh,
haven't, I haven't added Zach yet, but I probably should probably.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
You
come
know
on,
what?
man.
You know what? I will add him right now. Just
okay.
live on the pre-show here. Even though we're not live yet, we're just recording for Saturday. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that way I can, again, so everybody can be on the same page with the questions I plan on asking.
Yeah.
Because who knows,
Sure.
you might have like a good like, oh, that's a good question. Let me follow up on that.
Yep.
just know I have no questions at all. I'm just gonna
I know. You're just a
I
pretty
will. Well,
wallflower.
I'm going to kind of introduce because since I'm hosting it, I'm just kind of going to be just let you guys kind of banter back and forth. Kanan said he was going to probably just send me questions, if he has any. Like I don't. I said, well, you should just come on camera. But he's like, oh, I'm running for city council, so I don't. It's like, what difference does it make? You're not going to hurt. Are you afraid that you're going to hurt your character just because you're coming on our show and represent your town? I mean, who cares?
Who's that?
Kanan Langley.
Oh, I don't know who that is. I don't think.
Me
I've
neither,
known
but
that guy. I've known him for quite a long time, and it's just, after really thinking about it, I'm not surprised that he would do that to me. Because I thought
That's
he
all
was
right.
going to be committed. And,
It's all
be
right.
part
You
of
know
it.
what? Too many chefs spoil the soup.
Soup? You got soup?
I'm only a fan of tomato soup. I'm very basic. I'm a basic bitch.
Why? Come on, you're a cheese pizza guy too, aren't you? Yeah.
You
Yeah.
I
know,
know.
you're actually correct on that.
Come on,
Boring. No,
yeah,
just kidding.
boy, yeah.
Actually, I am. In fact, it's funny that you say that because I was actually eating a pizza, and I'm more of a pepperoni and sausage kind of guy. I kind of like having the combination of the two meats. What can I say? I'm a meat whore.
That's a
Wow.
little more information than I needed, but
Yeah.
good for you.
It sounds
No.
like it's up your alley, Mama T. I thought that was what you're into.
Oh yeah, yeah. How'd you know?
Well, it's probably my fault too, because
Let me.
the way that we banter back and forth. But it's just sometimes we roast each other and and whatever. But it just I'm gonna be nice. I'll be nice.
I bet you, Zach. I bet you eat plain cheese, plain hamburgers too. No cheese or nothing, just the hamburger and the bun, huh?
I bet you
Actually,
Zach.
no. I am an only
Oh, so
ketchup
you're
kind of
the
guy.
double. You want the buns with the double meat.
I bet you Zach only goes to McDonald's and orders cheeseburgers and says no cheese on the cheeseburgers.
No, 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 no. I am a. Can you guys not tell by my shape of my face and my body that I love cheese? Like
No,
you don't get to be this beautiful shape if you
we
don't
don't.
like dairy
Hey,
products,
Yes,
right?
round is a shape. It's a very nice shape.
we don't
Yes.
fat shame. We don't body
Nope.
shame. We don't do any of that stuff. If you're,
No.
so you know what we do? We judge you based on how funny you are.
Yeah.
And you're very funny. So
We use the F word, but not the three-letter one. You're
that's why
fluffy.
you're on the show because you're funny. If
I'm
you
kind of
weren't
concerned
funny,
with the other F words.
Oh,
fruit. I don't
we can
know.
say fuck on here.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
okay, that wasn't what I was thinking, but okay,
Oh,
thank you.
Just not during the debate or the Q&A.
yeah. Let's not. Yeah.
And I
God,
will stick
that
to
Oh,
that
are we gonna do a
myself.
clean show?
Very clean show. We'll be as clean as
Oh,
like
yeah,
you know.
we don't need to be like, so you're a fucking loser. Why do you
Yeah.
suck so much?
Hey Michael, how
We
come
don't
you?
need to do that.
Wow, I'd say since it's a pre-record, I'm not even because we're
plus
recording.
I
So
only have one beer
oh,
in the whole house, so I think I might be able to control myself tonight. Usually I'm
oh,
drunk on Renegade Radio because I guess I just all of a sudden I see Frankie's face and I feel the need to drink.
I
I
mean, I kind of feel I understand that.
oh, wow.
That's sympathy.
Well, as much crap as I gave you last week, I mean, I'm surprised you don't have like a 12 pack.
Hey, hey,
well, I
Sean,
don't have any money, or I would.
Oh,
Sean, you should be happy. If it weren't for beer, if it weren't for alcohol, I think we would permanently be stuck in the low digits here. Like I would probably still be stuck at like a 4. I would have never got my wife.
really? You got your wife because you're drunk?
No,
No, because she was.
Oh. She thought you were Justin Bieber or something.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. She's
oh,
like, wow, look at that bowl cut.
yeah. I want that. That's my man right there. I
Oh,
want him.
that was. No, I came in for the low dab there. Sorry.
No, no, no. It's perfect.
All
That's what
right.
we're here for. That's what I like.
But no, see
I
that.
can handle it.
But see, that's why I wanted you on the show, Zach. Because I when I started watching your videos and stuff, I just like this guy, he obviously wants to be noticed a little bit, and I figure, well, let's just see how I know he can be serious and stuff too. When it comes to like doing your videos and everything on the TRF channel. But I want to see if this guy has talent. If this guy is actually funny. And you proved it. And not only that, but you can hang with everybody. And it
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
take much to hang with us. It just
Dude,
we're a bunch of
when you
brothers.
grow
Just
up
thick
with
skin.
Just
when you grow up with
or
brothers
thick.
who will yeah, when you grow up with brothers who will take any like vulnerability and use it as like an attack weapon, you kind of just learn to
Oh yeah.
with the punches.
Well, that's how I did with my brother. this past weekend we got a chance to hang out, with the Res Reporter and Charlie. Now we didn't hang out with Charlie that long. We hung out with Res Reporter longer than we did with Charlie. He even joined us for dinner, which I was surprised. I didn't think that was going to happen. I was so happy for my brother Arthur, just because you don't know my brother, but he's kind of like the Res Reporter. He's always been kind of funny. When we used to make videos back in the day, he always liked to do skits or whatever. I'm surprised that he didn't do a YouTube channel, to be honest. But he's just so afraid of other people's reactions and stuff. And I'm just like, don't be camera shy. I mean, you've been
Yeah,
around me all your life, just, you know. But I'm the one that
definitely.
took
Yeah.
that spot. But he and Res Reporter, the way they kind of do their stuff are almost similar, kind of, because he has that Midwestern type of accents and everything, and the way
Did you did you send me the invite for Renegade Radio so I can send Mama T the questions?
I just added you as an admin.
Oh, I didn't even get a notification on him.
No, you won't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just add you. I just add you.
How do you spell your last name? I'm searching for you so I can friend you because I'm using the laptop because it's a lot slower. So I'm
Okay.
using that for the Facebook stuff so I can follow along the conversation and stuff.
All
But
right. It's
GUIL.
GULLEMETTE.
Okay, that's what I
Just
that's what
call just
yeah.
call him Gil for short. That
No,
Gil.
I know, but I can't type in the search bar Gil and find
I
him.
know, I know. Because then when you split Gil, it's not even
Oh,
spelled that way, the way that you would think or whatever. It's different. Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Well, anyway, did you guys do anything exciting this weekend at all? I mean, since we're doing the pre-show and everything, I mean, talk about anything. T, did you do anything exciting, or have you been home most of the
What now? What did I
time?
do?
Squirrel.
Um,
I
yeah.
said,
Oh, there it is.
did you do
Okay.
anything exciting this weekend, or get out of the house, or hang out with
Uh,
anybody, or whatever?
I overate yesterday and
Oh,
I got so full, and then ended up with um
diarrhea.
no, well, yeah, I over dairied it.
Oh,
I
oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You were telling me you had a little bit too much lactose. We'll say.
yeah, I had gone and
Well, we'll be proper when we say those words.
yeah.
Lactose.
No, they made these really great potatoes, but the potatoes have a lot of sour cream. Plus
Uh-huh.
there was uh a fruit salad with a lot of whipped cream, and then
Oh,
also on the potatoes was shredded cheese, and
oh.
then cheese on the burger, and I overdid it.
So you were making some beautiful music, and Bob wasn't there to record it, though.
Yep. Yep,
He,
exactly.
he would be like, you know what? I feel bad for you, babe, but I'm proud of you.
Yep, man. Sounds good. Don't even
Yeah.
need auto tune on that one.
No, no, no. We'll make that a beat. We'll use that with my new songs.
I'm trying to get into this, Zach. It's my now it is being slow again.
oh, the questions. Yeah, I
Yep.
had a whole like beginning script for it, and then I kind of just broke down questions that I thought would be good to ask questions. So, the way I kind of thought that we could like format this would be kind of like other town halls that you've probably seen on TV, where we're like, hey, we're gonna ask a question directly to a person, let them reply or let them answer the question, give the opposite, the opponent in this case, time to reply to the same question if they so choose. And then if the person who was originally asked the question would like to have the final word, they should get the final word since it was a question directed towards them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought would be fair. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Like mine are just kind of random, like stuff I like will read on the River Falls Chit Chat, for instance, or
Hmm.
hear from the River Falls people, think or things that I heard brought up in other conversations that when they were speaking and didn't quite get the answer I was looking for. So I
Hmm.
mean, it's not. Oh my goodness, my okay, where are we?
Well, you
There,
got some.
I see.
I've got to check it around a little bit, and it seems like some people are starting to be interested in asking questions about how to watch.
Uh,
We're gonna post this on my Facebook page, and we're gonna do this on your TRF community chat page. and whatever else. I guess. I mean, there's probably a
Hmm.
couple other places I'll put it to just to get out there, and then I'll
I
reach out.
know I know this weekend I had the opportunity to interview one-on-one with Mike Lorenson, who is actually going to be on tonight. We ha we have kind of the advantage there of already having some of the questions I was going to ask him somewhat answered in the one-on-one interview. It's a text-based interview, so he had like more time to reply, and it was taken over multiple days. But I still think that there's quite a few areas where, he could elaborate a little bit more. So I put those in there. I'm really excited actually to hear from Brian tonight because I have yet to do a one-on-one interview with him, and I think he would have a really great a great presence since he is the acting mayor right now. He is the mayor who's currently in the position, and I feel like a lot of people definitely want to hear from him, not just Mike Lawrenson. I mean, he's obviously the challenger, and everybody wants to know what he's different. But I think people would love to know, like, hey, how have things gotten to this way? What steps have you taken? Why should we give you another opportunity, so on and so forth. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited for this. It's making the nerd in me really happy. And if you can't tell, I'm very happy.
The questions that I want to know about, at least from both of you guys, is what you guys both have down. Like you probably told me this already, but the only one that really interests me is the crime stuff because Thief River obviously become more of a
Hmm.
crime area, and we want to know why. We want to know why is it that our little community that used to be a family friendly community. I mean, I guess it still is, still family friendly, but it's like why has so many people that you were never figured, and maybe this is a fault of their own, but why is it that our little community has made turned more people into criminals, whether they're guilty or not, and why do we allow that? Why is that happening?
I,
That
gu-
sort of thing.
I guess I haven't really seen the statistics on it, so I don't know, but that's
Just
definitely a
go to the
question.
freaking Thief River Falls court roster, and you'll see hundreds of people that they probably do belong there. But I'm just
Hmm.
saying, there's a lot of people that have, whether it's just bad luck or it's
Hmm.
like that something's not going right for them. Average, I'm talking more or less the average people, that even the ones that live there.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the ones that come down and that aren't from there. I'm talking mostly just people who have lived there all their life. All of a sudden, they walk through they walk through the crime wall, we'll say,
Yeah.
and become criminals because of what? What's going on?
Yeah, good. Those are definitely good questions, and that would be something we could definitely ask tonight. I I don't think I had anything down about crime, so definitely jump in with that.
Yep, I've got that one here, and I've got
Well, because
snow
I can have mine
removal,
too.
and I did bring up the water park. I did bring up like keeping the mom and pops in town. Um, a couple other ideas were like, how can we make more money as a community? You guys have any ideas? What kind of ideas would you have? Like recycling, more
Mm,
advertising for the town, for more events, maybe.
mm.
Low income families. What kind of improvements have been made since you have been in office? And that's yeah. And I asked, I do have a crime rate. I only have 7 questions. I didn't touch on taxes at all. So
Yeah. Well, I wonder where best to fit your questions in because I broke it up into topics. Let's see, where is there it is. So I broke it up into topics, 5 topics. Um, And the first one is local economy, taxes, the referendum, because that's huge right now. Then the community questions. So basically, people who have either reached out to me, commented, or publicly expressed or privately expressed a question. Um, and of course, some of those I had to like clean up because
Yeah, yeah,
people
F
are
yeah.
mean.
bombs?
Well, I mean,
No,
they're wondering what's going on. I'm sure if they donate money to certain projects, they want to know what the hell is going on. Why hasn't this been accomplished yet? What's stopping?
yep. And then the last topic was a live Q&A if we have anybody who wants to ask a question.
Well, that's why we need somebody to watch the chat.
Hmm.
Like maybe I mean maybe I can do that a little bit too. Since I'll be kind of in and out, but I'd like to have somebody that's not really. Like maybe Lindsay can do that too. Maybe she said she'll be here a little bit, but You know,
Let's see.
if she doesn't get here soon, then I don't know. Because I want to keep this an hour and a half, but it might even just go an hour.
Right.
So
Well, I can definitely because I can just mute the stream, I'm guessing, so that way it doesn't overlap here. So yeah, I can always
I'm
just throw my.
surprised nobody else offered to. All the people that are going to be watching. I'm sure. I'm surprised nobody else offered. I asked around, you asked around, a lot of people asked around. It's like, what? Everybody's afraid to get on camera, or what?
I don't know if it's necessarily everybody's afraid or if it's like they got personal issues, but well, like you,
I mean,
you
this
got.
is like thousands of people that are online and whatever, and like not one person came. I don't care if it's somebody I don't even know. Yeah, I was going to
Mhm.
interview them and kind of give them like a little rundown of what our plans were. As long as they're decent individuals, I had no problem. Make them part of the show. Just a couple people from town, from
Right.
the area, not everybody. Just a couple people that were, that could be included. Say, oh, I was on a live podcast. Oh, this was fun. Blah, blah, blah. That's
Yeah.
all. That sort of thing.
Well, who knows? Maybe during the course of the town hall, maybe some people would be like, "Hey, I want to ask this question, or I want to ask that question," which would be great.
And I will announce that when we do the intro, when I do my intro. So my
Good.
intro will be different from your intro. So
Hmm.
yeah, I wish I could do
Yeah.
background music and stuff too, but I don't. We're not able to do all that stuff because
Maybe just when you
Zoom
announce
audio
your
is shitty.
topic, Zach, ask me and Lindsay if maybe we've got any questions on that specific topic, and then, or after your questions on that topic or whatever, if we've got any
Yes,
follow-up questions.
absolutely. I like that idea. Oh, Sean, you said that you wanted to play music. I have a few
Yeah,
songs
but
that.
we don't have like the way that Zoom does the sound. It's like, yeah, I mean, I could make it all work to do that and everything, but it's like their audio thing is fucked up, and I don't really. I'm not going to mess with it. That's why. That's why starting in January, if we go until the end of November or whatever season 4 starts, we're going to go
Mhm.
to what Mama T goes through now.
StreamYard.
Sorry, StreamYard. I'm not going to do Zoom anymore. I'm going to go switch to StreamYard because you can use so much more stuff, and everybody can hear it. Everybody, you can play around. I can show a video. I can show articles, whatever, and everybody can see it. They can do that
Yep.
too, but it's more. It's harder. You gotta know this button. You gotta know that button. All that. StreamYard makes it so
And
much easier.
you got to agree to so many permissions
No, I
and
don't care about that.
just I,
You know,
no, you don't need to see all my entire camera roll or all, have access to my 401k and my social security number in order for me
hey,
to
if they
do
need blood,
whatever.
if they need blood from me, I'll give them blood. I don't care. I don't
Jeez.
care. I'll accept all the cookies. I just want some cookies. That's all. Give me some
You've
cookies.
had enough cookies, thank you.
Oh, thanks. So I haven't had any cookies. I haven't ate
There's
nothing all this.
there's
I meant
never.
that you're sweet enough.
Oh, 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 oh,
You guys
Oh.
think
wow.
I'm just being an asshole all the time?
All
I
right.
mean,
If
come
I
Well,
if
on.
I all
I
right
just kind of assumed it was defaulted.
That's why
if
I don't put sugar in my coffee because I'm already sweet enough.
if I was a cookie, what type of cookie would I be?
Oatmeal raisin.
Oh, perfect. I do like oatmeal raisin. That's perfect. I actually bought like the Pepperidge Farm kind or whatever that they have in the bag. Oh, the soft shoe. Oh, I love that.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
That's right. Oh yes.
I
I,
was gonna say double stuffed Oreo, but I
that's
Oh.
a fat joke there. I tell
no,
you.
it wasn't.
Double stuff. I'll
You
double
No,
gotta
stuff.
have
hey,
twice as
hey,
much of that filling in there than the cookies.
Oh,
hey, Sean, if that's okay, if you're double stuffed, I'm mega stuffed, so we can roll
okay.
together.
Now, what type of cookie would Mama T be? I wonder.
Snickerdoodle.
That it was the first cookie that popped into my head too. Yep.
Doodle. And what part Snicker and what part Doodle?
Yeah, it's snickerdoodle, not doo doo.
I didn't say Snicker doo doo. I said what part Snicker, what part Doodle. Well, that's all.
No one knows. That's the
Nobody
Because
knows.
I
fun.
laugh a lot and I
So,
scribble a lot.
so you don't want to be M&M? That's a fun cookie. Yeah.
I don't know. What's your
So,
rapping skills?
oh yeah, can you wrap it on?
Ha! Christmas presents.
Oh, perfect,
Well,
perfect. We call you. We
I'm
You
have
know,
I'm really good at
we
rapping.
have
you know,
M&Ms and we
there's
Christmas
have candy
presents.
wrapper.
there's a pun that could be made there. Eminem rapping underneath the Christmas tree.
That's right. That's right. He'll be wrapping candy bars. I'll
Yeah.
tell you. candy wrapper.
M&M wrapping M&Ms wrapping underneath. I feel like there's a lot that could be done there. I need to like make a poem for that. That'd be funny.
M&M's wrap
You,
M&M
you, you
wrapping.
gotta, it's gonna be a new meme now. Now
Yeah,
people are gonna watch this, and boom, there's gonna be a meme out before you even get started on it.
it'll be
Before the
M&M
show's even over.
wrapping M&M's, eating M&M's, talking about M&M's around Christmas,
You
or
know why
the
the
next
blonde got
Christmas M&M's.
you
But
know why the blonde got fired from her job at quality assurance at the M&M factory, right?
you
She
show
kept
the
throwing out
show.
the W's.
Wow. Did he not hear that joke before? Because we've heard that joke like millions of times.
I haven't heard
That's
that
one of the jokes that
one.
she telling. That's her
That's
original.
terrible.
That's a Mama T original right there. You
My
told that
favorite, no, my favorite joke of all time has to be, how many flies does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Flies.
Oh, I've never heard that one before.
Two, but how the hell did they get in there?
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
Oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't get that until
I'm
just now.
still I'm still confused, but okay. But that's not what's new, I'm always confused. Mama T has I think I need to buy you a joke book, I think. That's what I need to do. You need
No,
like hundred
you
hundred
just,
jokes about things, about like funny things.
you just got to have a better sense of humor. That's
I
all.
do have a good.
Zach got it.
You don't think I
The
have a good
flies
sense
are
of humor?
screwing inside the light bulb instead of like a blonde in a back seat. They're screwing in a light bulb.
Oh, so it's a sex joke. Oh,
Yeah, no wonder you didn't get it.
oh, that's right. Virgin ears. Oh, just kidding.
Uh,
Anyway, so yeah, well, what I guess I can tell you guys some good news about what's upcoming here for the next couple episodes, anyway, because it is October and it's spooky month or whatever. Well, I was able to talk to a couple people that want to come on the show here for starting next week. We have an author who I met about 6 years ago, or actually 5 years ago, at ValleyCon in Fargo. Have you ever been to ValleyCon there, Zach?
No, what's ValleyCon?
Oh, that's a little Comic Con in Fargo that they put together every year, and it's fun. They actually do get some celebrities and stuff that'll show up. That year it was Butch Patrick and the daughter of Vincent Price. We're both over there, and
Ooh.
so the year that I went down there in 2019, before the pandemic and everything, there was this guy that I met who dressed like Wolverine, because Wolverine is like one of his favorite characters. His name was Christopher Schmidt, and he's an author, and he writes a lot of like graphic novels and stuff. And so he's going to be on the show next week. Our only guest so far, anyway. Then in 2 weeks, we have another author slash musician slash guy who used to work, or I think still works for Rolling Stone, I believe. His name is Jeff Slate, and he'll be on tour when we talk to him. But his interview will be early. It'll be about 6 o'clock in 2 weeks. And then we have our second annual Halloween show, and I don't know who's going to be on that one yet. I haven't planned that far yet. But it should be fun because last year's was fun. Nobody dressed up at all, but we still did a Halloween show. We had Jim. That's when we had Jim Meskimen on, who did impressions for us. And I don't know if he was really impressed with us at all at the time, because when he first got in the room, Sam was talking about something about nuts or whatever, and that's what I know. Because
It's,
his
al-
his
it's
reaction was
always when you're
weird.
talking about nuts when somebody like what?
Well, the way that I mean,
nuts or butts?
well, no, it was nuts. He was talking about. I was just like so surprised. But you know,
Were
it was
you?
all right.
Oh, wait, what? Yeah, wasn't he wearing short? Was that the episode where he was wearing shorts and like his shorts were kind of
No, that was
loose?
later. That was early this year when that
Oh,
happened. No, this was like way before. This was way before. You know a Brian D. Hahn? Who's that?
who?
Brian D.
Brian?
Hahn.
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, he's part of the Thief River Falls. Oh no, he's not part of that. He's part of.
What to say, sir? There is over 2,936 people
He's
in
part
there.
of the. He's part of the Thief River Falls screening and chat and Slotomania slot machines. He's from Red Lake Falls. But lives in Thief River. He
Cool.
wants to be on. So I'm gonna send him to Zoom link here real quick here.
Sure.
I don't know
By
him at all, but if somebody's willing to come in, that's different. That's So,
I'm
I
trying to figure
do.
out a way to get this camera away from. So I have like terrible eyes, if you guys can't tell. So like when I'm usually like reading the computer screen, I'm this close. But then I
And
realize
we
like you're
can see up
seeing
your
my
nostrils. Yeah.
yeah, like you're, oh, you can see my big forehead. Do I have any pimples?
Oh, you're fine. Stop talking like that about yourself.
See, can I move it over here? I wonder. Would be better. No, no, it would not. No, it would not. Back.
I just slide my chair forwards or backwards.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to do. See, my problem is that I always try to do more than one thing at a time. I really should. It's a bad quality flaw.
No, not necessarily. Multitasking actually shows that you can use both sides of your brain at the same time.
Most people probably don't.
No, not usually.
I use my brain
Most people
every.
don't even use half their brain at one time.
I use my brain every day.
I,
So big.
and now I think we understand why Mama T drinks.
Oh, jeez. I was trying to be cute here. Was that not cute here?
No, no, no. I was
Oh,
saying Mama T is probably drinking because most people don't even use half their brain, and that there's a Bud Light.
Oh yeah. This episode is brought to you by Bud Light. You know,
Don't,
in
hey,
the mix.
don't get us canceled now.
Oh,
Jesus.
that's right. I was gonna say a slogan from last year, but I won't. I won't. I'll leave it. I'll keep it
Let's
good.
just let's leave that one alone. Tensions are still tough.
he
Well,
tells me
yeah.
to sip. What? Sip it? What? How
Sip.
do you? There,
Well, you
there.
sip.
See,
You make little sips. You know. You
Who's
the
sip.
sip?
sippy poo. The little sippy poos.
Yeah.
Who's telling you to sip?
I'm telling her to sip because she said that's her only can that she has or whatever. She
And I
drinks
was
pretty.
planning on finishing the coffee before I opened it, but
She drinks pretty tough there. You know, like somebody who's aggressively needs the alcohol. You know, like
Oh, okay,
yes,
so
you can say it. I'm an
she'll drink.
alcoholic, Sean.
She'll drink like Stone Cold Steve Austin. She'll crack them together and it's like
is there really any other way to drink beer? I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
if
Yes,
you're
there is. So the last time Bobby and I went out, he got a pitcher of beer, right? And then he took two drink straws, pushed them together, stuck it in the pitcher, and he says, "Now this is how you drink beer," and started drinking a pitcher of beer out of a straw.
that's great.
So yeah, I never saw anybody do that before.
Wonderful.
So yeah, there is more than one way to drink beer besides pouring it all over your face.
Well, I mean, after you have a few, that's kind of how
I
it
haven't
ends up with me.
I haven't done a keg stand or a shotgun to beer in quite a few decades though. So I think I'm doing pretty good. And
Well, that's good,
I'm laying off the hard alcohol too. So
It's
that's
kind of
good.
funny that you say something like that because I have quite an embarrassing story I should tell you guys eventually, about how like I'm from the millennial generation and there's some like new slang that's coming out of like the Gen Zs that I just didn't connect with. So it's a topic for another time, but let's just say that there was quite a few things where I thought it involved alcohol drinking and it actually didn't. It involved other activities, and I was like,
Oh,
oh,
oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I used to do that. Oh wait, that's not what that means anymore.
yeah,
Crap,
exactly.
no, that's
yeah.
not what I meant.
What kind of activities
Yeah.
there? Like swinging on a swing and stuff, and dipping in the pool.
Well, this is probably not the best place to talk about it, but it's referring to a term called it's referring to a term called back shots.
Oh, I've never heard that one before.
You don't want to.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you don't. No, you
Oh,
don't.
okay. Okay.
He
No.
knows.
Then we'll leave it
Yes,
alone.
she knows.
We'll leave it alone, and
I have a 20-year-old daughter.
Oh
Oh,
no.
she does that stuff. Wow.
I don't want to know if she does. Let's just
Well,
put
well,
it that way.
Okay. Let's
well,
just forget we even talked about it.
well,
I'm getting the live ready right
I don't
now.
have enough alcohol. Forget that that came up.
Well,
well, the issue is like when I was still dating, like I thought that was like, all right, it's like body shots, but just on the
Right.
back, right?
Right.
I was totally wrong. I went up to a girl, I was like, "Hey, oh, do you want to do that?" And she like looks at me in the face. She's like, "You're a fucking weirdo." And I'm like, okay, guess not.
Oh, Oops.
I
Sorry.
I'm old. I'm old. I'm an ignorant son of a bitch, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta be, you know.
Well, as long as you learn from your mistakes, I guess.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
The only person you'll ever say that to again is your wife.
Yes, if I'm lucky. If she's happy.
And if,
Oh,
yeah,
she's
if you're lucky,
happy.
yeah.
She's happy.
If it's a day that doesn't end in Y. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, honey. Don't hurt me.
Oh, let's see.
She's gonna come in
Oh.
here and give me an elbow drop from the heavens.
From the heavens,
Is she
eh?
watching?
No, I asked her to help out with the kiddos tonight so I could do this. So she's being super mom. So Tao, if you're watching this, I love you, honey. Thank you so much for taking care of the kids.
Is that the one? Is that the one that?
Oh.
Because I think I've chatted with her before, or either chatted with her or she's liked my like some feed or whatever, or that I posted or whatever. I believe.
She's all over. She
Okay.
messages people and she talks with people on here. She she's more of the person that just wants to be in the background. She doesn't want to ruffle any feathers.
No,
So I'm
that's
like, oh,
fine.
that's
That's
fine.
fine. Man.
She's like, hey,
Whatever.
this is something that you're interested in. I'll support you, honey. But like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be over here doing my own thing. I'm gonna be a
Yeah.
wallflower.
Yeah.
That's all
Not
right.
my deal. See,
Yeah.
that's how I ended up on this show in the first place because um little Bobby was actually a guest on Renegade Radio, and Sean suggested to him that, I need another co-host. Would you be interested in? And Bobby's just like, nah, that's not really my thing. But my girlfriend's really into pop culture. You should call her. And next day I'm like, babe, why is this weirdo inboxing me? What does he want?
Oh, you know what I want. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, I'm updating the live right now and get things ready here. So who's all in the room? Okay, I got Mayor Brian and Mike. How you guys doing? Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Oh,
Are they all? Okay, perfect.
Hi,
Uh,
Brian. Hi, Mike.
I get the live all set up here. Mike, you were asking how long this is going to go. I figure, well, this Q&A or live town hall will probably go about an hour, and then if there's any time for Q&A after, we'll go to about 7:30, and then after that, it'll still be done. So that's kind of like what I proposed when I was chatting with you guys the other day, and this is kind of what we had planned. And I have Zach. You want to introduce yourself?
All right. Do we want to go from the top here, or do we
No,
just
just
want to
just
go?
just 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 a little small little sample because we're not starting yet. We
Okay.
got 10 minutes.
All right. All right. All right. Hey guys, I'm Zach Gillimed. I am the founder and admin of the Thief River Falls community and chat page. I have the honor of representing the people on our page, over 2,900 members. And today I have the honor of being one of the moderators for this debate. Hi. Can, can you go out with mommy?
Mhm.
Yeah, he smells good. I made pizza earlier.
Just to be clear, obviously, this is not a real actual debate because they're going to do that. This is just like a town council kind of,
Mhm.
Q&A thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
about that, guys.
yeah.
Well,
Because we want to make that clear because I know Mike was telling me that they were going to do something like that here eventually. So,
and
but
not necessarily, from what I was told, it was going to be slightly different. So, but
for your upcoming debate or just for
yep, we are not
oh
have we are not having a public debate like we have in the past, and like at
oh
the Eagles or at the Carnegie. They're
okay wow.
they're it's going to be
Would you like
slightly
to do it
it's
here?
slightly different. Well, to me, I was told, I said, why are we not doing that? And they said, well, they didn't have the bandwidth, so kind
The
of
bandwidth.
our capacity.
Oh,
So to me, I'm like, when it doesn't take much for a few people to um
sorry about that.
step up and assist. So
yeah, that's weird that they would just do that to you because that's what I'm talking about. It's like people need to be committed, but they're gonna say that we're gonna do something. Let's just do it. There's too many excuses to why people just like oh we're sorry we have changed the plans or whatever. It's like no, you promised me this. We should do this. You know.
yeah.
unless
Well, I
somebody
mean,
died or whatever. You know?
it's going to be something slightly different, but I mean,
Okay.
um,
Well, as long as you get a chance to do what you need to do and everything. And like I
yeah,
said, we're not here to hurt anybody or whatever or to break anybody's character. We're here to because we love our town and we love the community and we love you guys regardless of what you're talking about. Because you both serve a purpose in the community. You're both very important to all of us, and it's just it's just nice when people come together and talk about the things that they care about and why we should keep doing what we're doing or why we should make some changes. So what we're just here to do is, you know, do something that most maybe the radio stations are afraid to do, you know. And I'm not trying to compete with those guys, but I figure I have my own platform. It's a podcast. It's Renegade Radio. We've been around a little while. I want people to know about what we're doing, and I figure the best way to do that is get involved something locally, so people know, that this happened here instead of somewhere where you would normally expect. This happened somewhere different, So
And and I'd like to point out, Zach, you missed the fact they are not going to be doing a formal live debate.
I'm sorry. No, I had kids that jumped in. That's what I was gonna say is that guys, this is not this. We didn't really necessarily structure this as a debate per se. We just were more interested in asking you guys questions that have been curated from the community and from us. And if free flow conversation ensues, then that's great. That's what we want. If you guys want to respond to something that one another has said, that's perfectly fine. We'll go over some of like the more formal rules here when we start getting started. I have a whole spiel I'll go through that kind of explains what we're looking for and how we'll go ahead and proceed once we start going. But like they said, we're not here to play gotchas. We're not here to ask questions that are seemingly insensitive. Now, I cannot promise you when we get more to the community side of the questions. Some people have really high tensions, as you might expect. It is the election year. It's coming up. The election is coming up faster than Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas," so it's understandable that the tensions are high, and you got a lot of things on the ballot this year. So if you guys do have any concerns or any critiques on the comment side of things from the community, I understand. We did try our best to clean it up to make sure it's not trying to do personal attacks, but even still, I just want to give you that disclaimer.
yeah,
Well, no, what I was trying to say was that I actually misspoke and I didn't know it. Mike said that they aren't going to be doing a live debate in town like they had
Oh,
planned.
oh,
yeah, like the open debate, like they would do at the Carnegie or at the like the Eagles. That's not happening this year.
why not?
I was told they didn't have the bandwidth. So,
Okay. I mean, whatever it may be.
yep. There's different processes they're looking at doing, but
Hmm.
it is. I mean, to me, I thought it's unfortunate because that was a very busy event. I'm sure they sold a lot of alcohol that night.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, for sure.
But
Okay, so I got the live ready. So if you guys would do me a kindness and share the link, I sent it to all your messengers and everything. So
Hmm.
share, pass the link around and just to get some, help probably get to the audience and all that over here for this. Then we'll get started here about 3 minutes and yeah. So we normally just do a pre-show. I mean, that's kind of why we're kind of getting everything ready now. Uh, on the show, we always like to do a pre-show that I record for, because as I said on Tuesday, that not only does this get aired tonight live, but then on Saturday you'll have an audience from Grand Forks Best Source and all their people, and we've had views of sometimes of 8 to 10,000 people watching, based on who we had on the show. Some episodes don't do that well, but I think this will do pretty well because of the subject at hand. So, and there's a lot of people that probably are from the Grand Forks area that know about Thief River, obviously, I would think, or that are from Thief River, and that probably are concerned too about some stuff, that just, will be surprised that this is actually happening. So, those guys at Best Source have always been so nice to us. They're located at the at the old mall, and well, it used to be the Kmart Mall, but now it's like the Ace Hardware Mall. So it's not the Columbia Mall; it's the mall on Washington, uh, where they have a studio right next to the bar called Rumors. So that is also exactly why I wanted to do this, because it's like it'll get more word out there, and people like stuff like this, and it's political time, it's election time. Once election time is over, hopefully people can go back to be normal again. Hopefully, if that's a thing, I don't know. So
What is normal now?
yeah,
Who even knows?
That's all right. We're we're all a little special up here sometimes. It's okay.
Some more than others.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Well, I think we'll get started here. Just to let everybody know that this is being recorded as well, and aired on my page, my personal page, and the TRF community chat page, as well as various other pages that you guys share it on and whatnot. So we can people can watch the live stream. It's a nice little platform. It's a way, a good way to use social media just to because this is the future, whether we like it or we don't. This is the way people communicate nowadays when it comes to just doing things that we like to do, and interacting with people, being more sociable about things, and not being afraid to come on camera and whatnot. I did ask for some people around the area if they were interested in participating. Not that I was trying to ask for 1,000 people or whatever, but I didn't get much of a response. But I think one guy we have, his name is Brian, or let's see, his name is Brian DeHaan. I don't know if you guys know him or not at all, but he uh he wants to be part of this, so he's the only one that responded as far as and then my normal crew that I normally have, I only have two of those, which is Zach and Mama T. The others are from various locations, or they're busy tonight, and they either have no interest in this topic, or they just are busy, and they just can't be a part of it tonight. So just to
It's
let you
Monday
guys
night.
know. It's Monday night. Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
this is our podcast night. So anyway,
Yep.
welcome to Renegade Radio, everybody. I'm your host with the most, Frankie Schlosser. We're on season 3, episode number 13, and tonight is a very different night compared to what you would probably expect from us. Normally we'd be talking about crazy things and whatever, and just having a good old time. Well, we're gonna have a good old time, but we're doing something called the first ever Renegade Radio Digital Town Hall. And that is where we want to get everybody involved from our local community of Thief River Falls or the surrounding area to be involved in either the live chat or just the viewing of this digital hall. Uh, just because we're some most of us are concerned about the future of our city. We know it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, it's not disappearing or anything like that. It's just that it's election time, and I decided, let's see if we can get some of our local political people on here that are running for mayor, and ask them some questions, and just to get to know them a little bit better. And we're not asking for anything to be too brutal or whatever. We just want a nice friendly conversation, like I would do with any interview that we've had on, with any other guests that we've had on. So uh, I'm the host, Frankie Slauson. We got Mama T tonight, and we got Zach, and we're joined by Mayor Brian HOLMER and Mike Lorenson. Brian is the current mayor of Thief River Falls, and Mike is the one who's his opponent. And I've known Mike. I know Mike better than I know Brian, but I want to get to know Brian as well, because I feel like Brian does a good job as mayor. He tries his best. I mean, I don't know what people want, but sometimes people want a lot of things, and even the mayor can only do so much. So, but he works hard. He owns Michael's Meats. We love Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is a great place. If you want fresh stuff. And I go there. I've gone there a bunch of times. So we appreciate you guys coming on. I'm basically just the host of this deal. I'm leaving it up to Zach. He's kind of the admin / question guy, and Mama T's going to be more of a question person. And then when Lindsay comes, if she does, then she'll be a question person as well. I don't know what role Brian's gonna do. I'm sure he has some questions that he's gonna ask or whatever as well. I've never met the guy before, so I don't know what to expect. So hopefully it's all good. So Zach, lead us away.
Actually, Mama T, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself first before I get
Oh,
into my whole
yes.
spiel?
Go ahead, Bobby T. Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm Mama T. I'm over here in McIntosh, Minnesota. My ex, well, I guess not ex, but um, little Bobby Bar and Grill in McIntosh, Minnesota. He just passed away here a couple months ago. A year ago, I started doing Renegade Radio and co-hosting for that. And I've got my own podcast on Sunday nights that I interview local, regional, national, international musicians and music personalities. And then I've got a little newsletter I did for a little over a year, and I just like this platform. This is the fun show.
All right. All right. Hi, everyone. Hello and good evening to everyone here and watching from your mobile devices. My name is Zach Gillimat. I am the founder and admin of the Thief River Falls community and chat. Tonight is the first recorded and streamed town hall event for the mayoral race in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. I would like to take a second to thank all those participating and Sean from Renegade Radio for hosting this event and giving me the honor of moderating this town hall, and thank you to the participants. This town hall will be broken up into segments, each concerning a different subject matter. Questions will be directed towards the candidates one at a time, with an opportunity to respond to the other after the remarks have been made. Final word will be offered to the person with the original question being asked. The goal of this town hall is to give everyone watching a clear understanding of each candidate and where they stand on the issues. While this is not a debate per se, you may respond to each other's comments during your time to speak. Our goal is to promote a free-flowing conversation. On your screens now are the two who are running for this coveted position. Brian Holmer, Brian Holmer, the incumbent, and Mike Larson, Mike Lorenson, I apologize for my misspeaking, with Ward 3, the city council person who is challenging for this position. Brian was first elected in 2014. Under his leadership, Thief River Falls has seen vast improvements on many items, such as infrastructure, business development, police and public safety expansion, and so much more. If elected this November, I believe it would be Brian's 5th term in office. Is that correct, Brian?
Sixth term, I believe it is.
The 6th term, okay.
Yeah.
And then next we have Mike Lorenson, who is the current sitting council person for Ward 3 in Thief River Falls and has held the position on the council for 6 years. He has been known to ask in-depth questions at meetings with a commitment to transparency to the public. Thank you both for taking the time to chat with us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, on the very first topic, we're going to touch on something that is near and dear to everybody's hearts. It is the local economy. Now, before we get into this, I would like to ask you guys. I need to find a coin here, because I do not want to just start off asking questions without finding out who's first. There we go. All right, so gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. All right. Brian, Mike, heads or tails?
I'll do heads.
Heads? Sure. All right, heads it is. Awesome. Sorry. I should have told you guys that we were going to do who the first question by a coin flip. I hope that's all right. All right, so let me get back into it. As you know, the local economy is the lifeblood of our small town. On the business side, some owners are finding it hard to stay afloat, and on the consumer side, many are having a hard time just keeping a roof over their head. What could you do as mayor to promote our local economy, help small businesses, and help those who are most affected? Mike?
I guess that's a tough one. I mean, all of us, including, even the larger businesses are struggling as well. I mean, the inflation we have experienced on top of the interest rates are not helping. It's making it very challenging for individuals to get a ground, if you will. But I would lean more towards some of the state and federal people to push for where our economy is sitting as a city, and find out what we can do, both from a city standpoint and a school standpoint, and a county standpoint, to try and figure out what we can do to cut where we need to cut. And we do need to make a very, very serious decision on, certain services. And I'll just pick on one. For example, I made a question here the other day about leaf pickup and how much it costs for leaf pickup in the city of Thief River Falls. I mean, we need to come to the realization. I mean, do we need leaf pickup? Is it something that we can cut back on to help the tax strain that we are experiencing in the city today? There's only so much we can do, again, in whether it would be in a ward seat or in a mayor seat. There's only so much we can do, but we can reach out to other government officials to assist us and call out the need for additional help in certain cases like this.
Okay, thank you very much for that response, Mike. Brian, same question to you.
Well, I'll continue to do what I have been in the past. Is you got to go down and lobby the state legislature, and our primary money we get from the state legislature is our local government aid, and you have to be able to tell the story that us as local property taxes cannot keep rising when we have people that are not inside the city limits not paying property taxes using our infrastructure, our roads, our law enforcement, and all the other goods and services that our city does have for them. So that you really got to get out and tell the story. And over the past, 2 years ago, we got an increase of $394,000 worth of local property tax, and I wasn't alone standing at the Capitol lobbying for this and testifying for this, but that was an increase. And here again, this next year is going to be another budget year for our state. And when it comes down to taking a look at the formula and local government aid, we got to make sure that we're at that table and making sure that any changes to their formula or any changes at all, we need to have the increase to pay for it, because we are kind of a regional hub here. And like I say, a lot of people from a lot of communities rely on us for their goods and services. And without the city having good, reliable infrastructure, plowed roads and stuff to get to town, we just don't have the economy to keep us motoring.
Okay. Mike, was there any last words that you wanted to leave on that, or are you good?
I would echo that. There is I take a look at it, and we have currently 256 parcels in the city of Thief River Falls, basically equaling 14% of the city's properties that do not pay property tax for some reason or the other. Now, granted, some of these are very valid, legitimate reasons, whether it be your hospitals or your churches or colleges or cemeteries and so on and so forth. But there are a few other ones out there that should be called into question. But to the mayor's point, it causes a strain for the rest of the community, because we are paying for the services for the entire city, and there's some that are not, they don't need to pay. So.
All right. So just to kind of review, it looks like some of the answers that you guys have submitted was maybe looking at some amenities, assisting with government aid, going down and lobbying, and just looking at other areas that could possibly impact how we affect the local community. Mama T, was there anything that you wanted to add on to this?
Well, yeah, because I was just wondering, I lived in Thief River for a long time, and what kind of ideas do you guys maybe have for like saving money as a community or raising money as a community? Like maybe recycling, do something with that garbage, or advertising, having more local events, trying to attract the tourism maybe. I mean, do you guys have any ideas like that where you could either like raise money for the community or change something like that?
Well, when you talk about events, that's kind of not in the realm of government. We can't really use money to support events in that nature and try to do that kind of thing. Our biggest thing is, how do we provide the best service for the lowest cost available and a reliable service? making sure your roads are plowed when it snows, and make sure that we don't have the potholes. I'm very proud of our roads and the system of network of roads that we do have in our community that are well maintained. And them are the kinds of things that we really, public safety and our infrastructure is what we really got to focus on.
Thank you.
All right, then.
No, I will interrupt you real quick because Brian did have a question here, or our guest, or not guest, but the other. I guess he's not going to be asking questions like one-on-one. He just wants us to read. He says, "What is? I guess this is for both of you guys here. What is it in your educational and professional qualifications that will make you the best mayor for the next term to bring gravities to the position and best represent Thief River Falls in the state?" I guess we can go with Mike here.
I think he meant gravitas.
I have no idea. I've never seen that word before. I butcher a lot of words sometimes. I know how to read. Mike, go first. Since you're
So a bachelor's degree in MIS. I also have schooling in journalism and photography. I used to be a photographer for a local paper, did all the darkroom work for those groups. Also worked in manufacturing engineering. I have some background in blueprint and mechanical design. But my key focus, is IT. Prior to working in IT, I was a teacher, English as a second language. I did spend a few years in Russia, teaching children in Russia. So I do have an experience internationally as well, in the international economy and how that does have a play into the United States as well. That was back in the 1990s, so I date myself pretty quickly there. But again, my core of my focus is IT and management. I did go to school for management as well. So
yeah, Mike or Brian.
Well, I guess my history is basically I was a paramedic for many years. I owned Great Plains AMS here in Thief River Falls and Crookston, and ran that for a number of years. Also was a lobbyist at the state capitol. I was a lobbyist for the Minnesota Ambulance Association, and I also did some lobbying for the American Heart Association as well, and the Rural Hospital Association. That's kind of how I got to navigate down at the capitol and know how bills and stuff, the process goes. Since that time, I got out of the ambulance service and I got back into what I did when I was growing up in high school. I got back into the meat cutting business, and I'm owner of Michael's Meats, small business owner. I've also been elected to the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities as their president 2 years ago. I was their president, and there's 108 cities that I represented there. I'm on the Red River Basin Commission, which provides the citizen view from Minnesota side onto the Red River Valley as far as their water issues go, as well as the International Joint Commission that involves disputes over water between the United States and Canada. So,
wow, busy guy.
yeah. So,
yeah. Well, we're grateful that you had some time to spend with us because this is obviously an important thing. And it's just like as we get close to, I mean, we're less than. Are we exactly a month away from election time, or we're less than a month? I suppose. November, is it the 5th or whatever, or what?
It's like 30 days or something like that to the Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah. My question that I'll guess I'll just kind of ask just to get it out of the way. I have a question about crime. Now, Thief River Falls, used to be, and it probably still is. I mean, I probably should, try to say that it's not, because it still is a good community. Obviously, people love to move there. People love to live there. There is opportunity, even if it is small opportunity. There are opportunities to make an okay living over there, depending on what you like to do. Well, my biggest problem with that city is that it's become so ridden, and I know this is probably every city, but we're talking about Thief River today. So why is it that a little nice community like Thief River has been so, over the last few years, probably the last 20 years or so, I would say, has been so crime ridden lately? I can go look at the jail roster, which I do a lot, and there's, other than the people that you figure would probably be going, jail for things or whatever. And I hate to use that stereotypical language, but I'm talking I'm talking more like the people that live in the town that have lived there for years. Why do you think so many people have gone the path of becoming criminals or using crime, whether it's for drugs or sex offending or whatever else that they've been doing, to all in the little town of Thief River to all of a sudden be known as criminals now? Because we just had one with a known Middle River guy who, obviously, decided to turn on, the way that he did, and now he's locked up because of choices that he made. Of course, he's from Middle River, but still, that we've had that issue in our town. Do you think it's because of lack of things to do in the town, or do you think it's just their own personal, or their personal issues that cause these things to happen? And Brian, I'll let you start since you're the
Well, when it comes to some of the things, I can't stereotype everybody, but some of the issues we're having, I'm sure, is from upbringings, what they've lived through, and how they've dealt with things in the past. Not always the best way of dealing with it, but the way they outcast and things like that. The other thing is, I think with the way the judicial system's going now is. I don't think there's enough attention to the rehabilitation once a person does get crime infraction and stuff like this. I don't think there's enough mental health out there to actually, make sure that person is safe to himself or safe to others when he is incarcerated and then eventually released. Some of the things that the state keeps taking, ways and putting the burden on the local court systems and stuff like that, and lowering the threshold for some of these crimes, and rather than enforcing the crimes to the extent that they should be, I think as a deterrent rather than just a slap on the wrist. If that makes any sense. It doesn't seem like there's any muscle into it anymore as far as the court system goes as a deterrent as well.
It just doesn't seem like it's like disappearing by any routes. I mean, it seems like it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And it's just like, do you think there'll ever come a time when it just, I mean, I know crime will always be around, but do you think there will be a time when it just kind of disappears a little bit, like it gets lower in our community?
Well, I kind of wish it would. If you'd kind of look at statistically, I would imagine that there's a certain amount of crime to every 100 people, and I'm sure as the city grows, there's more crime because of the more people. I'm not sure if that's that's no way am I trying to justify anything, but just with more people, you're probably going to have more of that kind of crime. But that's not saying that we shouldn't have great law enforcement officers out there that can deter this crime by having their presence around or knocking down and arresting that criminal that is doing that crime, and get him locked up and get him through the court system and making sure that the court does right.
Mike, what's your thoughts here, Mike?
Yeah, there's a very good points here that the mayor called out here. I mean, crime as a whole isn't just something that is impacting Thief River Falls. I mean, we just had recently, there was a stabbing in even Roseau, neighboring city as well. Things like this are happening. And as sad as it may sound, and I'm not trying to put all the blame on this, but as you have individuals that are migrating into our town, you're going to experience some people that aren't necessarily coming in with the same type of values as some of the individuals who left for college and did not come back home, if you will.
Sure.
Mental health is a big concern. I don't think we are giving an adequate support to some of the situations we're running into. And to the mayor's point, the state, in my opinion, has failed a lot in a lot of these areas because they are kind of washing their hands of it and saying, okay, now county and city, you take care of this, and we're gonna sit back and not hold that burden. So that the challenge. I mean, you take a look in the school systems. There's a lot of problems we were having in the school system today that we never had 5 and 10 years ago. It is a challenge. So I think we need to again lobby at the state side to try and see what we can do to find from a state side what some type of level of support and working with other community cities to try and see what we can do to um, bring them to the same level of state and push our concerns forward. So
Okay, Brian has another question here, and then we'll let Mama T ask the next question here. He says, can you give some specific examples of how you have supported law enforcement as mayor and city council person? So, Brian, you go ahead.
Well, I guess just local. Most recently, I can think of when I was lobbying in the past budget year for the and some of the COVID money was out. Lobbied real hard to make sure that the city had got their fair share of funding for extra funding for our law enforcement that came from the state, and that ended up be I believe it was $384,000, and it's that was to be divided out amongst all the law enforcement and public safety within our community, the fire department as well. But that got them some badly needed equipment that got us going. And here again, we try to keep the law enforcement fully staffed, which is somewhat of a struggle just due to the environment. Since George Floyd and all that has happened, there's been a downswing in recruits getting into law enforcement. But all in all, I think we're as a council as a whole, I think we strongly support our local law enforcement, and I'll leave it at that.
Mike, any final thoughts?
I would echo that as well. I mean, I don't know of any time that the city council has not stood behind our police department. I will actually call out, there have been some times where I've questioned some spend, but that's actually to understand, is this necessary at this point in time? A good example would be, upgrades to computers and so on and so forth. And I'm going to ask a question, and that's just legitimately just to the defense of the taxpayers. Do we truly need this? And I guess I was one of the big supporters of the body cams for the police department, and that is a protection from both the police officer and the taxpayers or the public. That's there's no changing of video footage. We know it right there, whether it's a police officer was in the wrong or if a citizen was in the wrong. And that's one of the things that I pushed for heavily, because that will protect us in the event of any wrong, any lawsuit that was filed against us. Then we were in the right. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna jump in here real quick,
Yeah.
Sean. Just for the record, for people who are listening at home, there was some statistics here that I shared, but I think it's also important to know that Thief River Falls, one of our biggest spends is actually on public safety and the police force that we have here. Also, there was a thing that was said here about when we have migrants coming into town that there may have a different impact on our city. There is no statistical evidence to prove that. Just want to make sure that's clear to everybody who's watching. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're let one of my original crew members who's been on the show for over a year now, Mama T. Go ahead and answer the question there.
So we were talking about crime, and Brian, you had mentioned that it possibly could do with some mental health, and do we have any kind of funding, or do you think it would be feasible to get better mental health training for our law enforcement, EMS, fire, emergency services, so that it's easier for them to recognize if someone's in crisis or if they're drunk or on drugs, and not let things escalate? I mean, is there something in the budget for that, or is that already being done?
Okay, I guess first of all, we have to recognize where who's in charge of what, I guess you'd say. The EMS in the city of Thief River Falls is privately run by Sanford, the hospital, and we don't have no direct say of what they do or how they do things. But
Okay.
I'm hoping that they have protocols and stuff that handles those kinds of crises. Back when I was a paramedic, we all had standing orders and protocols on how to handle different people in different forms of crises. As far as our law enforcement, they do go through the post certification and do their ongoing training on mental health crisis issues. When it comes to mental health in Pennington County, that is actually the responsibility of the county. So that would be a commissioner's question. And I know just from having discussion with them, they are constantly trying to figure out, because the state doesn't have a lot of inpatient beds, and there is basically somewhat of a moratorium on that by the state legislature, that there's only so many beds in Minnesota for mental health individuals that need in-house treatment. And there is a lack of outpatient therapists and psychologists and stuff like that within the area too. And I don't know if it's a demographics of where we live, that kind of thing, or nobody just is in that field. But there is really a lack of those type of individuals in that profession in our region.
Okay, looks like we got Lindsay over here. How's it going there, Lindsay? I'm glad you could make it. So far, we're already at the. Oh, it's almost 6:30 already.
Yeah, we're only on our first topic.
Yeah. Did Mike have a
Oh,
chance to answer the question at all, or that you just asked? I wasn't really paying much attention. I was trying to get Lindsay on.
Brian gave me pretty much the answer. Did you have anything to add to the?
No, again, there is some limits that we have on that. I mean, it is a struggle from, we have individuals in our current jail that really should not be there. They should be in a hospital, if you will, because they do not technically belong in a jail, and that actually causes a problem for us because we are limited in our capacity there. So
Thank you guys. I am going to move on to another question here. I got two more questions on this particular topic. The next one I'm going to give to Brian. Brian, you have overseen many businesses come and go over the past 10 years. What policies do you wish or do you have or do you wish to have in place to bring new businesses and keep them here instead of letting them kind of burn out?
Well, when it comes to small business, that's a real tough one. I'm a small business owner myself, and it takes a special breed of person that want to stick his neck out, so to speak, and get into that himself. My closest friends in small businesses, my banker and my attorney and my accountant, to keep my business on the back end running. So, there is a stress on that for small business, and to help people out, we can do apprenticeships and things like that. But all in all, for downtown Thief River Falls, I did lobby for making sure that we at least got our first $100,000 of our taxable property value decreased, kind of like our homestead property tax, for small businesses. But really at a local level, there isn't a lot of things we can do because we can't really do tax abatements because that takes from others in our community and gives it to them. It's hard for the city to try to pick winners and losers. All we can do is provide a good infrastructure for them and so that they can provide their services.
Okay, thank you. Mike, same question to you.
I guess, there is not much we can do in that, like as the mayor pointed out, but there is some stuff that I think we probably could step up in from the city side and have a voice on either the chamber or visit TRF. Right now, they haven't really been as collaborative as they probably should be, and that is I think I know we're missing the mark there. I think if we were to get them together, sit down all at the same table and say, look, we got to get together and fight the common good here to get businesses to survive, if you will, and actually thrive. That would be one thing I know we as a city council probably could push on. We have our limits there as well because that's a private group. So
all right, thank you. Brian, since you were the person this question was originally asked to, did you have any final comments on that?
No, it's just, Mike's got it right too, that, we do have some private organizations out there that probably could do a little better job of collaborating. But then again, I don't want to say, we don't steer that ship, so to speak. They're setting sail on their own. So if they can get together, I think it could be a lot more strength to it. As we build our community, the partnerships really mean a lot, no matter if it's a partnership between the city, county, but the biggest partnership is between private and public and how we can move forward in a lot of these issues.
All right.
I have one question to ask, one more question to ask, and then we'll let Lindsay go ask a question, and then we'll let Model T, and then we'll get back to you, Zach. We kind of do a round circle, kind of a round robin type of deal here, because we got people on here. My other question, I guess, is, I mean, even though it's already kind of happened already, and there's probably no way to reverse it because it's already already been happening already. Um, a question that a lot of people have asked, and I get this a lot at the casino when people come by and have conversations with me all the time. What's the deal with all the roundabouts? Why did we need so many roundabouts? I mean, I understand why we needed the underpass. That was a really good idea. I mean, because that was actually, that's cool how it looks and how it makes it easier for people to travel and miss the trains and in case if they have to go around by the cemetery and all that stuff. But like, what was the deal with all the roundabouts? I mean, why are they in the places where they're at, and why couldn't they have been more like in like a neighborhood setting, we'll say. Like you see in other communities where, most roundabouts, you'll have like a waterfall or something in the middle, something to look at or whatever. And it'll be like in a more of a neighborhood setting instead of like on a highway or whatever. Ryan, I'm going to ask you that since you're the one who probably approved all that. So I mean, it is what it is, but I mean,
To
I
be,
just,
I'll be totally honest with you. The only roundabout that we had any say in is the one that on Pennington. The other roundabouts were primarily designed by the county as the primary person or the state as the primary person within the realm of it. As far as why they pick roundabouts rather than stop signs or stop lights, well, for one, more economical. And the top reason is public safety. You don't get a T-bone effect to car accidents. You get glancing blows to them. And we know that some of the primary intersections that they have on, there has been results of some injury accidents and actually deaths that have occurred at them areas. So the primary concern is for safety. Secondary is for the economics of it because there's no ongoing maintenance like there is with a stoplight and such.
okay. Mike, do you have anything to rebuttal?
I will say sarcastically, with exception of everybody that clips the signs when it's slippery out and they hit them and they have to be replaced. So that's my pet peeve to that. But yes, to the mayor's point, there was not much we could say. In fact, I will call out the ones that are over by Petropumper to the railroad tracks. We were literally told by the state of Minnesota that road needs to be. It was time for that road to be repaired, and the state literally said, unless you put these roundabouts in, we're not funding it.
Oh.
And if you take a look at the statistics, that section of property has twice the state average of accidents. So at that point in time, they said, we will need to put in these roundabouts. I'll say, in all honesty, I kind of would challenge in some of those, because if you take a look at by the railroad tracks over by the Legion, literally when you're coming off Brooks and you're coming up on the number one there, you literally had to kind of drive up and get onto number one. And in the winter time, it's slippery and you can't really get up there. But it is what it is. It got fixed. I have a roundabout right by my house. Do I like it? Not necessarily that much. Property went from about 800 cars a day to, I think it's like 2,400 cars a day. So it had a massive impact for me. But again, it is what it is. They definitely do reduce the amount of T-bone accidents. And again, it's not just Cedar Falls. If you take a look at 75 or the casino, they're popping up everywhere. That is a state. I think it's a state-driven initiative.
My question though was like, why not just put it like in the neighborhood area, you know,
Though
instead?
those are those are the roads that were needing to be repaired or done at that
Okay,
point in time. So that was the call outs.
okay,
That there was additional grant money that we could have potentially received, or state and or federal money that we would have received to actually put a roundabout in those particular spots. And instead of putting a higher burden on the taxpayers by slapping in some lights, they elected to put in the roundabout instead.
okay, all right. All right, Lindsay, since you haven't had a chance to ask any questions yet, first of all, introduce yourself to the mayor and Mike if they know you. If they don't know you, we know you, but talk about yourself a
Hi,
little bit.
I'm Lindsay Gregory. I'm actually running for one of the school board positions this year. I started to become more involved with the community and the school district within the last year and a half now, like more actively. Before it was just the school district with the bullying stuff that I was taking care of. And now that I'm becoming more active in the district and everything, I've noticed that there's a lot that goes on within the district. And then there's the people that think that the city and the district should share funds, and yeah.
Well, what do you have a question for Mayor or Mike?
I've caught a bit of the interview so far, and I've heard about lobbying and whatnot. Have you guys advertised a day at the Capitol at all by chance?
Brian, go ahead.
Yeah.
As far as the Day of the Capitol, it used to be kind of an annual thing. And when COVID hit, it kind of fell to the wayside a little bit. We did do one after that, very low attendance on it. And there again, we had to look at some of the costs, and this was during our budget cycle too. And I don't know if everybody knows, me and Mike will sit on the budget and finance committee, and it was a determination on whether we spend city taxpayer money as a whole and go down there, or if the chamber wanted to use it, and we were always and always subsidizing this trip, where we felt either the cost had to go up or they needed to find some sponsorship to go along with that. And since that time, the chamber just hasn't really, they kind of dropped the ball and hadn't really organized anything. And Mike, I don't know if you have something to add to that.
I will say there has been some changing of hats in the chamber, so I think that they're trying to pick up the pieces there. But again, I would echo what the mayor said. It was very concerning to us, from a budgeting standpoint, because the chamber just basically said, here's what it is, and oh, this is what we have left over for the bill. So the city, you can take up the rest of the tab, which is not really good. That's really bad. I'll be honest. I think I was going to say 4 or 5 of my kids to the state capitol last time we lobbied. And so I helped offset the cost of the trip, just me, myself, just trying to get that cost down a little bit. But I think if we were to do this in the future, and I really think we should, it would be for us to actually plan the trip ourselves. And if the chamber wants to come, sure, they can come and they can pay their seat. But we would be something that we could do ourselves. And honestly, the school board and the county should be joining us.
Yes.
And
should be
here,
effort.
and if I just might add too, the day at the Capitol should be something for the community. And we do a lot of things, and I talked about pride at one of the meetings, and we kind of lost our city's pride a little bit. We always looking at the negativity and stuff. If people really want something, they got to show a little bit more pride and help us out as elected officials and stuff. And when we have these bus trips and stuff, fill that bus up and have some backing for the people that are going to go speak, and have kind of that setting of saying, we are important, we are here. And that's what I try to do when I lobby at the Capitol. And sometimes it's tough by yourself, but you still got to get the word out. And here again, in order for that, I think we got some pretty big businesses in town, and even smaller ones, that would support if we actually went out there and took the hat out and said, hey, would you support a trip to the Capitol so we can do this as a community effort, not a Thief River Falls city effort, not a county effort, not a school board effort, but this is a community effort. And this is why we need to go, because of lack of funding to the schools, lack of funding to this county, lack of funding to the city. We can go on with specific issues beyond that, but we got to do it as a community.
Okay.
I know me, myself, I just recently learned about a day at the Capitol through Intercounty, because I'm on the policy council for Head Start. And they all went, and I had no idea what that was whatsoever until that day. And I was like, well, that's kind of something we should all probably get into. Maybe we could do some better advertising, like a social media person or flyers or something, mailers. There we go.
Get to that point though, it was led by a group, and the individual that actually did run it is no longer in that position from the chamber. And I think I would echo what you're saying there 100%. Both the mayor and I would agree that the layout that we had was kind of, in my opinion, poorly done because we did not have pre-scheduled meetings ahead of time. And I've lobbied at the state before, and I worked with it from the utility standpoint. And man, we had meeting after meeting after meeting just scheduled one right after the other. In this case, it was like a lot of stuff was undone, and it was challenging. But again, we really could speak volumes to those at the state capitol if we flooded that bust and all came all together. That kind of, pardon me for saying, but it freaks them out because they're like, whoa, so.
All right, so we're gonna let Mama T ask the next question. Now we're getting kind of running out of time here with the
Yeah, I think I'm
town
gonna
hall, but,
go ahead and say hi, Lindsay. Welcome to the show. Glad you joined us, but I'm gonna steer it back to Zach. I don't have any more questions on this topic.
well, no, I mean, do you have anything else that's a new topic? Because you say I have time to talk if you want to.
Um, so well, we were talking about how like everybody in the community complains about the roundabouts, right? Well, you know what else everybody in the community complains about? Snow removal. That's all I hear all winter long is the snow removal. And it is piled up in the middle of the street. You can't make turns, and it's all in front of their house. They can't get out of so I'm sure that's probably not a thing you can, is it something you can take care of as a city? Because I know all my questions so far, that's not, it wasn't your ship that you were driving.
Go ahead, Brian. You can answer first.
Oh, I can say from my standpoint, I plowed some snow in my time, and snow has to find a home, and it's got to find its place to be, and the only place it can't be is on the street. And the best we can do is get it pushed off to the side. And when it comes to getting high enough we can't see around the corners, the city tries to do their best in pushing them corners back. It's a you know it, if you remember back when, I might be dating myself here, but I can remember back when they used to have aerial antennas on cars. We used to put orange balls and
Flags
stuff on
on
it.
them so that you could see
Yeah,
where the car was.
yeah, but now we don't have that kind of antenna to do that. But no, it is a concern. I think all in all, our downtown has been kept a lot cleaner for our economy that we have down there. It's a matter of a day or two when the streets are cleaned up downtown. We do have a lot of streets in town. I can't remember the exact rate. I think it's right around that 200-mile mark, or 89-mile mark, I believe it is, somewhere around there. But that's you're talking 90 miles of road, and we have only a certain amount of equipment to do it with, and certain amount of man hours to do it in. And then as far as calendar parking, how else could we do it by having the cars off of one street compared to the other when we're moving snow? There's really, when it comes to wintertime, some communities call it a snow emergency. Everybody gets off every street. Now where do you park your cars? So we try to do the best we can with the circumstances we have. And I guess if Mike can fill in anything I missed.
Yeah, Mike, do you have any ideas on how that could be improved maybe?
Well, again, to the mayor's point, we need the community to assist in that as well. Whenever we have cars that are not parking in the proper location, it does cause a challenge for the snow removal. I will say in the past couple years, we have had some serious breakdowns of equipment that have not helped us. In fact, some of the last storms we had I think two of our systems that were down, which does not help. It makes it a very, very challenging for us to work with that. I've worked with the state on a couple things, even down to the roundabout over by the hospital. That is a really difficult one. In fact, myself and city councilwoman Rachel Prudhomme back in the day, we both worked with the state to get a snow fence out there because you could plow, and 15 minutes later, you wouldn't even know you plowed. It was that bad. And so there are a few spots that we do need to work on to try and figure out what we can do to either put in snow fences or some type of block so we can prevent some of the drifting over that's happening. So, I mean, unfortunately, we are in northern Minnesota, and there are some challenges to that. So,
Thank
All
you.
right, all right, Zach, go ahead and ask your next question.
All right, I'm actually just going to move on to the next topic I have here since we are running a bit out of time. And it's everyone's favorite. It's taxes. Yay. Anyway, so Mike, I am going to ask this one to you since the last question I asked was to Brian. Um, as city council person for Ward 3, you have been there during some of the most recent raises and have voted on some tax raises as well. How would you have how would you have done things differently if you were mayor? Would there be other ways to find the funds and the revenue available than to consistently raise taxes?
again, this is a weak mayor system the way we live in. So technically, my vote does not count anymore uh, in a ward seat as it does in the mayor seat. But I do say that like I've said in some of my conversations with individuals on Facebook and other social media platforms, I would like to sit down with more people and town halls and discuss some of the situations we're in, explain to them why we're in the situation we're in, and start getting some voice from them to understand again, do we need to make some cuts, or do we not need to make some cuts? It's very easy to pay your, I shouldn't say it's very easy. It's a little bit more understandable to pay your heating bill when you know where your heating bill is and you know what you've been doing. I was the one that set the dial to 75. I knew that I was going to cause an adjustment to my heating bill. I knew that. I take the ownership for that. And if we were to sit down with our constituents or our taxpayers and discuss things and get some better feedback from them, I think that would help immensely. I mean, again, there are certain things that we are mandated by the state that we have to that we have to work on. I would say, again, working with county and city and other cities to see if we can potentially share some of that burden, maybe one of the things we could probably look at.
Okay, thank you. Brian, same question to you. In your opinion, would there be other ways to get that funding, get the revenue that we would get from raising taxes from other places?
Oh, I constantly try to look at that. We've been fortunate that over the past years, some of our tax levy raises have not affected the individual property owner unless their property value went up, because our growth of our city is growing enough, and then we're not. We take a look at that and try not to raise property taxes and try to keep us in. But with everybody else, our city grows. It takes more people to fundamentally take care of the infrastructure. We needed to add a law enforcement officer in the past. Our fire departments always has to be ready to respond on a moment's notice. So some of these things we can't do without, and they're not really unfunded mandates either. It's their mandates that we were elected to provide this service to the community. Now, yes, like I say, in order to keep the property taxes lower, we do need to look at other sources of funding, such as local government aid, and try to keep that going and tell our story of, like I said previously, a lot of people use our goods and services within our community that don't pay property taxes, and the governmental entities and some of that, because we are a regional site. So continue to work hard with the state and also the federal whenever possible to keep the property taxes low, and take advantage of grant funding to make sure that our cost burden isn't as much for our taxpayer.
All right. Thank you so much. Mike, any last words on that before I let someone else ask a question?
Yeah, I will add one more thing, and this is, I guess this is necessarily one for one side or the other, but I will say that we do have several TIF districts that are actually falling off, and these are TIF districts that were put in place long before I was seated on council, and even the mayor was. These are 20 some year TIF districts, which I think are absolutely ridiculous, and I'm a strong I stand strongly against them being that long, because by the time that that TIF is up and done, your road is needing to be up and repaired, and there is no funds that the city has recouped on that piece of property. But I will say we have a number of pieces of property that those TIFs are starting to come up on, which will be great. That means that our tax capacity will be adjusting, and will give us a little bit more breathing room. Not a lot, but a little bit more. So, thank you.
All right, so now because of time, I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to one at a time to ask their final questions. I'm going to start. And this is more, I don't know if it's more or less a question. I think it's more or less a statement, but it can be conceived into a question, I guess. And we're going to start with Brian. Brian, since you've been mayor of Thief River Falls, I guess the biggest question I have for you, for my final question is, what are some of your proudest moments of being mayor?
Proudest moments, I guess. I guess just keeping DigiKey here in town. It's probably the best worst thing for our community, but if we'd have lost DigiKey, that probably would have been if people would have been around in the era of when Articat shut down and stuff. That was really bad. But keeping DigiKey in our community and working hard to make our community what it is today. And I think we have bright outlooks in the future. When the DigiKey TIF finally comes to an end, that's going to be a huge increase to our tax base and actual lowering of tax rates the property tax for all of us individuals. So that's probably what I'm most proud of.
All right, now and Mike, what's some of your best moments being on the council?
Well, I will say I have knocked on, I believe, every door that I possibly can in my ward. And so I pride myself in getting to know the people, and that has been one of the funner things and actually most enjoyable things of my current position that I'm in Ward 3, and that is getting to know the people and trying to figure out what I can do to help them fight for what they say they would like to see different. I've worked with things like the safe route to school, and worked with our developers to try and help with that. Again, I'm driving that and trying to figure out what I can do to help on my side. The other thing that I thought was awesome, and the only thing I did on my end was try and lobby for votes. Was that's getting the Timberwolves basketball flooring in the park over by the beach. That was awesome. I did as much as I could to spread the word out and kick it out on all the social media marks to get as many votes as we possibly could for that. That was a very exciting moment for me to see us improve a spot for the kids to enjoy.
Do you see a lot of people using that a lot?
Is every time that I've driven by in more of the summer times, and I've driven by, whether it be by the Red Robe Park, and I look across the river, I see kids playing on it. So that's pretty exciting to see. So we just got to make sure we keep the geese off it. So
yeah. No, that's awesome. I remember that time. That was a good time and it made the news, and I think it did make like maybe local news too, like the ABC.
Yep, it did make the news.
Oh, that's good. That's a proud moment, because was it it was like a contest or something, wasn't it?
We had to get
Vote.
enough. We had to get voting.
Oh,
We had to get votes, and that's again why I was pushing so hard on social medias. Click the button, vote. You can vote, so many times a day. You got to do it. You got to do it. So, but
well, that's
people
awesome.
people were getting tired of me probably asking for it, but it is what it is. So,
well, hey, you made it happen, and goal achieved.
we all made it happen. Every one of us.
Yeah,
So.
everybody that participated. All right, Lindsay, you have a chance to ask one final question. Make it good.
I guess my question is for the mayor, Homer. Instead of building all these apartment complexes and such, would it not be more beneficial to build single family houses?
I would love to be an investor and come up with that and have the investment, but the investors are what drive the building of it. It isn't us. When the investor comes in and says they want to build an apartment building, I'm not in the or nor is anybody from the council want to sit there and go, no, we want houses instead. Forget about your apartments. Right now, we're all of the above. As far as the housing status goes, I would really have been pushing for the state to figure out what they can do for the, how would I say it, the empty nesters of the of not only our community but communities around the area that, you know, your house is getting too big, all your kids have left your home. How can you get out of your house into a smaller house and be able to sell your house for that investment that you had over the years, and make sure that it is able to be sold. There's too many restrictions of selling an old house to a new home buyer. There's too many USDA home buyer first home buyer restrictions, such as no paint can be flaking even on the eaves, and there can't be a crack in a shingle, or the windows can't have no lead in them, and things like this. And a new home buyer, or even the person that's moving out of the house, just doesn't have the resources to get it fixed up to snuff enough for that new home buyer and that new family that wants to jump into that house. So one of the things I was really looking into is working with the state to try to figure out how can we make housing affordable, and how do we get an area maybe that it's for that 55 and older, smaller homes, because so that some of these the older stock in our community can be used for the families that are up and coming and growing as we have today.
Mike, do you want to add to that at all?
Yeah, I was just gonna say we do have several future development areas that are already plotted out, and we're waiting. And it's difficult, especially right now with the economy, the inflation of wood. I'll be honest, my daughter is looking at a home in the city of Beaver Falls, and it's just mind blowing, because I'm like going, I know how much she's looking at buying this home for, and it's a newer home, and I'm going, it's like almost $100,000 higher than what we built our home for, and that was 10 years ago. And I have a 7-bedroom home because I have a lot of kids, and that's a 3-bedroom home that she's trying to build. And I'm just like, whoa, it's hard to believe. But again, we do have several of these areas that are plotted out. We're ready for it. From a city standpoint, we are itching for it, contrary to every, pardon me for saying, troll on social media. But we want the city of Beaver Falls to grow. We definitely want it to. It helps us. It helps the rest of the group. So yeah.
Well, and just another side note, when it comes to the census, and everybody says we're trying to keep the census down. No, we want the census up, because every individual that's counted on a census gives us more state and federal tax dollars come back to our community.
Yes.
And if I remember right, over a time span of 10 years, I believe it's like $15,000 per individual comes back to your community. So I would love to see us in that 10,000. I'd love to see us in that 12,000. And no, it has nothing to do with the municipal liquor store.
No, it does not. It does not.
All right, Mama T, you can ask your final question to both the
So-
candidates.
She was talking, Lindsay asked an interesting question about the apartment buildings versus the houses. And, the apartment buildings, that would bring in more people, but what kind of services right now, like these apartment buildings, are they going to be low income? And what kind of services does the city currently provide for lower income families? And what, if any, ideas do either of you have to improve these services? Mike, let's let you go first on that one.
So are you talking specifically on apartment buildings?
No, not specifically, just
So specifically on apartment buildings, I would say that we do offer TIF incentives where we can to help. And again, I'll say that I'm not a fan of like a 20-year TIF, but I think like a 6 to 8-year TIF is a really good area to play in. And on that note, I mean, I could have a field that that has $400 in property taxes per year. And when the TIF comes into place, that $400 is still going back to the county, and you're getting that $400. So we aren't losing that money. But once that TIF rolls off, then we actually get the larger portion of it that just helps offset the cost of the development, if you will. But there are other areas that we're working with different groups that we can actually land trusts and stuff like that. There, I mean, seriously, there's a couple of them that we put in place here right now, cuts the cost of a home over $100,000. I mean, we're talking like actually makes it realistic for a first time home buyer to actually get their foot into a door and find something. Granted, that isn't necessarily on a single income. You probably will need still two incomes on it. I mean, that's the way it is nowadays in the economy we're living in. But there are areas like this that, we have, this is not new ideas. This is something we as a city council have been actively working on already. We have tried aggressively to try and figure out where we can to make sure people can afford to live here.
Thank you. Brian, do you have anything to add?
Well, yeah, we just did a housing study, and I wish I would have the numbers in front of me, but we do have a fair share of low-income houses, housing available, apartments available for individuals. Where we really struggle is that workforce housing, because we don't really want to have income restrictions, because uh, the income that we do have in our community is rather high. It's not in the low end portion. If you have, we do have some low income people, yes, but a lot of the people that do have the job normally do not qualify for that kind of assistance and stuff like that. So, and to the point of TIF, the TIF, you really have to answer that question, but for, if I don't give you this TIF, are you still going to build it? And the last two apartment buildings that went up, we did not give any TIF to, because there is some restrictions with TIF too. But they would rather build it without it, because that way they don't have all the restrictions that go along with it as well. TIF also takes away from the city, county, and school. The city has a say in it, but it also takes away from the county and school taxes as well. So the only other way around it would be abating the city or the county, because we know how our school funding is situated now, and I'd hate to see that affected any worse. So I think I'd have to look at the housing study in general. We do need housing, and it's all the above type of thing.
All right.
Thank you.
Zach, you can ask your final question.
All right, my final question for the both of you are pretty simple. Let's start with Mike here. Why should people of Thief River Falls elect you as mayor?
I want to pride myself again on my focus towards people, listening to the people, and I want to regain the trust of the people by again initiating additional town halls and um, times where we can actually sit down and meet with our constituents. I'll give you a couple examples where we have, in my opinion, lost a massive opportunity, and that would be Night to Unite, where we are serving hot dogs. That's great. We can serve you hot dogs, but realistically, what we should be doing, we should be sitting at this picnic table over there, or this picnic table over there, or this picnic table over there, and saying, this is Ward 3, this is Ward 4, this is Ward 5. There's your alderman, and go visit with them, express your concerns, see what's bothering you. I believe, I could be wrong here, but I believe many years ago we actually had meeting events at local parks or local areas. So, for example, Ward 3 would meet at the Oakland Park, and it would give an opportunity for the city council member, the alderman at large, the mayor to sit down and meet with the people and talk to them and say, I'm frustrated. I have some concerns. Why are you putting roundabouts in the city of Thief River Falls? And if you actually had a chance to sit down with your people and say, here's why. Oh, I did not realize that. I get it. I understand. People that are informed tend to trust a bit more, and that we need to have a speed of trust in our city right now. We need to have again that regaining of trust, and make sure that we are aggressive to try and find what we can do to improve our city and recover where we have started to slip. So
Okay. Thank you so much, Mike. And Brian, last question here. Same thing. Why should people of Thief River Falls re-elect you as the mayor?
Well, I have a track record of bringing, money back to our community, but I am always there at the store. I probably pick up my phone and have over 20 to 40 contacts with my constituents every month on different issues, everything ranging from the local streets to what's happening with the pizza ranch. I try to get out. I've been on the radio every month trying to answer questions on the radio station. Try to be as informative as possible. Some of the bigger things that the council or the citizens don't realize I'm working on is our safe water drinking source. Trying to working with multiple agencies, primarily the Corps of Engineers, but then also the Department of Health and Minnesota Pollution Control on how do we get our water intake moved up the Red Lake River and not have the confluence of the dirty Thief River water come through there. And furthermore, is find out what is in the sediment of our reservoir, and if there is too much sediment in there, how do we get it cleaned up so we can start using it for more of a recreational purpose like they did in the past too. So there's multiple things on the agenda. The night's too short to list them all, but I've been very proud to represent Thief River Falls in the capacity I've been in, and I would love to continue that capacity for the next 2 years for the citizens of Thief River Falls.
Thank you.
Now, Zach, do you see any, or who's ever monitoring the chat, any questions from the viewers at all?
Yep.
Maybe ask a couple.
The last question here would be from Brian. And this is a question I was going to ask earlier, but it's a good one. How would you two differentiate yourself from each other, so your opponent? Let's start with Brian, because I asked Mike the first time around. So, Brian, go ahead.
I guess how do we differentiate ourselves? I guess to be honest with you, I think we have two different things that we're really good at. Mike knows a lot about IT and a lot of the things that involve that side of it within the city and the things that we encounter with online things. I think I'm more of getting out of the city and looking for resources outside the city, looking at ways that we can get funding, ways of decreasing the cost to our local citizens. So, and getting the partnerships that's needed to lower the cost of any project that we do for our community. So I would think that's where we differ.
Same thing to you there, Mike.
Again, I would say one of my bigger key points is connection. We need to again bring back a collaboration with the taxpayers. In addition to that, my management style is more focused on bringing in collaboration with the city council. We need to figure out what we can do better as a city council together, and that would be one of my other points, is to challenge the city council to step it up a notch and see what we can do to better serve the community. We were elected into this position to be the voice of our ward, and I think we owe it to each and every one of you to live up to that promise that we took when we took office.
Thank you.
All right, since we don't have any more questions, I checked the Thief River community chat page and it seemed like nobody was asking any questions. I think it was people were having a hard time viewing the video because I had to set it to public. I have to do that every time and whatnot, but I did it earlier on, so anybody that wanted to watch it. Plus, we'll have the replay as soon as this is over on for everybody to watch. Well, I want to say in closing, to say thank you to both Mayor Brian and Mike. I mean, you answered my questions as far as like the I guess when it comes to how much you care about your city, or our city, in that matter. You guys are. I mean, I got a lot more respect for you now than I probably have had in a long time, just because now I get to know you guys a little bit better. Even though I've known Mike a little bit longer, I still didn't know Mike that well because our families didn't really talk as much, but I get to know you now a little bit more about what you want, and if you do become the new mayor of Thief River, I think people would accept it, and those that don't just have to learn, have to either adjust to the change or perish, I guess. I don't know. You know, it's it's just what's best for business sometimes. And if Brian's gets elected for another term, you know what? More power to you. Your track record speaks for itself. You've accomplished a lot of good things, and your vision for the future of Thief River has never been brighter. So I wish you guys both luck in the election. And thank you again for taking the time to be a part of this Renegade Radio Historical Day. And God bless you guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Yep. Thanks for having us.
Hey, no
Thanks
problem.
a lot.
And we'll see you guys next week for when Renegade Radio gets back to normal here. We'll have special guest author Christopher Schmidt will be our guest next week. So
You
thanks
mean
again.
back to abnormal?
Well,
Yeah.
whatever you call it anyway. Back to our world anyway. All right, we'll see you guys, and
Thanks.
thanks for watching Renegade Radio. Bye bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.